Hey y'all, today we're gonna square up this quilt. Welcome back to my channel, Crystal Heart. My name is Crystal, and today we're gonna be squaring up this quilt. This is the same quilt that I showed you guys on my last quilting video, how to quilt baste. So today we are going to square it up and get it ready for binding, and that will be the last step to finishing this quilt. So before we do that, I just want to say thank you to everyone who watched my Sew Sampler video, my July unboxing. My husband did that video for me, and me and one of my friends did the voiceover. And you guys seem to really love that video. And I just want to thank everyone who showed love on that video, who watched that video, and everyone who subscribed. I also want to thank all of you guys. Talking about subscribing, we are at 835 subscribers, I believe. We're so close to 1,000. So if you're watching this video and you forgot to subscribe, go ahead, hit the subscribe button because we're so close to 1,000, and that is my next goal. Also, I did post a video doing making preserves, peach preserves, which may not be everyone's cup of tea who watches my videos for quilting or unboxings, but if you don't mind, go ahead and giving me some views on that video just to help the algorithm, and I can get some more eyes who are into that kind of stuff onto my video. Then I would greatly appreciate that. If you just go peep in, give it a like, leave a quick comment, then I would appreciate that so much, because I only have like 30 views on that video. So I really want to try to get the views up on those type of videos as well, because I enjoy doing them. And I know it'll draw in a different audience for those videos, but I do enjoy doing those type of videos as well as the quilting videos. So thank you guys ahead of time for that. So getting back to quilting, like I said, this is, if you haven't seen the video where I showed you how to baste with school glue. Bye, love you. Okay, I just got cut off by my husband calling, so I kind of lost my train of thought. But I believe we were talking about the video that I made showing you guys how to baste with school glue and pool noodles. So if you want to learn that, then go check out my channel and watch that video. So after I did the basting, I did hand quilt this with big stitch quilting. This pattern was also in a Sew Sampler box. I don't remember what month, but it's Lori Holt fabric, B-plaid line, and I forgot the name of the pattern, but it was in one of the Sew Sampler boxes. And it's a baby size quilt with little bees and whatnot. So anyway, if you don't know what squaring up a quilt is, it's basically when you trim all the excess batting and backing off of it so that you can attach your binding. You want your quilt to kind of be square and even so that once you put your binding on, it's not all wonky and wobbly or whatnot. So I'll just show you guys how I do my quilts. It may not be the best way for everyone, but I found for me, this is the best and easiest way for me to square up my quilts. So yeah, if you're interested in that, then keep watching, and I'm gonna change the camera angles and whatnot so you can see me do that. All right. Okay, I'm gonna try my hardest to get a good angle with this video. Hopefully everything's working out right. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you guys what you need to start. So I'm on the floor doing this, so you need a space big enough to lay out your quilt. You will need a cutting mat. This is, I don't have a huge cutting mat or a huge table, so I do everything on the floor. This is the cutting mat, the biggest cutting mat that I have, which is an 18 by 24, but I make it work. So you also need a square ruler, the biggest one that you have. This one is a 12.5 inch, and then a straight ruler, the longest one that you have, and this one is a 24 inch. And also you will need a rotary cutter, whichever one is your favorite. I love the Olfa rotary cutters, so that's what I always use. So the first thing you need to do is make sure that your quilt is smooth on the corner that you're starting on. And so my top, this is the corner. I'll take my 12-inch ruler, and you also want to make sure that your rotary mat is lined up under it so that when you're cutting on your mat, not on your floor, so you don't cut your floor. So I take my ruler and I line it up with the corner as even as I can. Now this quilt is pretty straight. I believe it's pretty straight. Sometimes you'll have quilts that aren't as straight, but you have to kind of use your judgment to get them straight, or you can use some excessive measuring, but that's just not how I like to do. I like to do things the easiest way to get the best results that I can. So I have my corner lined up, and then I'll take my long ruler, line it up with my square ruler, and I'm hoping that you guys can see all of this. And usually I'm doing bigger quilts, so once I put my corner piece and then the long ruler, I'll have a whole lot more quilt on the other end. But because this is a baby size quilt, this ruler reaches all the way to the other corner almost, so it kind of makes it a lot easier. But you can still use this method with a bigger quilt. You'll just have more quilt over there that you'll have to slide your rulers down. So I take my rotary cutter and I'll start cutting here. I'll cut here, and then I'll come along here and cut down. And I always just continue moving my mat as I cut, because my mat is not covering everything and I don't want to cut on my floor. Okay, so let me get that done. I'm hoping my head is not all in the way, but you're gonna hold your ruler down firmly. I'm gonna start right here, because right here I have like a little bit of my fabric is coming away from the ruler, so I'm gonna wait till I come back around to straighten that part up. And you cut that away. As you can see, it lines up. I'm gonna cut down here now. Now when I get to where my mat ends, I kind of just, I can move this ruler because it's done. I kind of just slide my mat down. Then I'm going to take my ruler, make sure it's still even, and I'm going to cut all the way to the end. As you can see, that's all cut. So when I get to this corner, what I'm going to do is turn my mat so the long way is going that way. Get my big ruler again. Line it up. Line this one up evenly. And then cut. And if all of this is getting in your way, you can easily just cut it off. But it's not really getting in my way. So I'm going to slide my mat down. Make sure my ruler is lined up. And then cut. Then I cut all this away so I can just Move it to the side. Going to grab my square ruler. And on this end, I have a little extra right here, but I line it up as best as I can. Okay, now we've come to the last corner. Once again, I'm going to put my square ruler and just finish the last side. And because this is a baby quilt, baby size quilt, I can move it around a bit. When I'm working on a bigger quilt, I have to move around the quilt. But because of filming, I'm kind of moving the quilt the best way that I can. But like I said, if it was a bigger quilt, I would have to move around the quilt and leave the quilt in one place just to be sure that everything is even. And we just have the last little piece. Line up the ruler to the other cut side right here. And cut. Last cut. So now you can see the quilt is completely squared up. It looks even, it looks straight, and it's ready for binding. Alright, you guys, that is all that there is to squaring up a quilt the way that I do it. Like I said, I'm sure there's a million other ways, but that is the way that I do it. Everything looks even, and it is ready for me to attach my binding. So, and also all the scraps, this binding can be used in small projects. You can save this fabric for fabric scraps, except for the places where the glue was. If there's any glue on the edge, I'll just cut that part out. But I will definitely save all of my scraps. I save everything that is usable. But anyway, if you like this video, if you learned something, if it was helpful, please leave it a thumbs up and please subscribe, y'all. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers. And I want to thank everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.